Well, for one, during my elementary years, medyo yung isa sa mga yung strength ko actually sa science. So, kumbaga, alam mo yung mga interdivision and sa public school. Pag sa science, ako yung parang nagiging representative ng school namin. By grade 6, they asked us to to write what do we want when we grow up. I can still remember that alam ko na isulat ko doon was I want to become a scientist. Although, I don't know, hindi naman siya tipong like a dream na like you sort of think of it every day. And so I went into college and went to biology. Actually, ang path ko noon was to become a medical doctor. Kaya lang, wala kaming pera. Yung parents ko, hindi naman sila, kumbaga, hindi nila, kumbaga, kaya mag-med. So, after graduation, I decided to go into grad school. And from grad school, yun na, siguro, unti-unti na-realize yung naisip ko before na kahit na hindi ko siya, kumbaga, pinangarap ng matindi. Siguro partly divine providence na doon na rin ako ginahin ng Lord papunta sa scientific career. Okay, when I graduated from college in biology, I was really amazed on the field of molecular biology, because at that time I had a teacher in cell biology and cell molecular biology, and magaling siya, and he introduced me into an exciting world, a different exciting world about molecules and proteins and DNA. And so from then on, I was like, okay, if I'm going to go into graduate school or do science or research, I'm going to molecular biology. And so yun yung ginawa ko when I did my master's. When I applied to Japan for my master's and PhD, my field of study in applied was molecular biology. And so, fortunately enough, a laboratory in Japan accepted me in a laboratory. It's called the Laboratory of Genome Science, which does molecular biology and biotechnology tools in application to fisheries, to aquaculture and fisheries. Field ko bale is applying molecular biology and biotechnology to the field of fisheries and aquaculture. And I wanted to go into fisheries and aquaculture because at that time I was already in BFAR when I applied for my master's and PhD in Japan. And actually, when I entered BFAR, doon na nag-start yung passion ko towards doing food. Although siguro na-ingrain na rin sa akin ng father ko nung maliit kami. Kasi ang father ko, agricultural technician. So he was dealing with food mostly on rice. And so when I had the opportunity to go to BFAR and then do graduate school for fisheries and aquaculture, so yun na-nurture na. And so yun ang ginalawang kong field, which is in applying molecular biology and biotechnology to food security by way of fisheries and aquaculture. For the Philippines, you see, many people doesn't realize that we depend so much on fisheries and aquaculture. For example, for our food, about 70% of our protein requirement comes from fish. We are a fish-eating culture. Calcium is also our calcium needs. Also, we depend much on fisheries. And so and and in many cases, you see, fisheries not only parang secondary na lang yung ano yung export in a way, no? But fisheries as a whole is really um, supporting domestic consumption. So imagine kung mag-collapse yung fisheries, for example, na mawala yan o bumaba. Maraming taong unang-unang magugutom. No? Kung wala na silang magiging source ng livelihood, then a lot of people will lose their jobs, etc. No? And it's a type of food kasi nga malaking portion of the kain natin is from this. Internationally, we're one of the always, no, we've been at the top 10 of the largest producing fisheries and aquaculture products in the world. Palagi tayong nasa top 10. So, yung Philippines is really very important to the world in terms of what we produce in our fisheries and aquaculture. So, again, so Philippine context or even sa international fisheries is really very important for the Philippines. Key opportunities and issues. Well, issues muna. We know that a lot of things are going on in fisheries and aquaculture. You know, when I started in BFAR in 1995, hindi naubos yung issues na pinatry natin isolve. In fact, dumami kami dumami. The issues, although may mga na-lesson na, for example, yung mga blast fishing, mga cyanide fishing, na-address naman yan. Kaya lang hindi pa fully eradicated. Pero dumami yung issues. No? Nandiyan na nga yung very evident na overfishing, yung mga aquaculture-related issues like environmental degradation, and even sa international markets, no? Pahigpit ngayon yung mga markets natin sa labas. Such that they are now, really requiring what? Safe food, and even yung mga IUU issues natin na illegal, unreported, unregulated, no? They're really looking at that such that you can't easily export now to these countries unless you can prove that the food or the fishery products that you're exporting came from clean and legal means of farming them. So, marami issues. In terms of opportunities naman, among the Department of Agriculture's sort of banner products or banner species, banner commodities, what I know is that fisheries is still the potential commodity products, commodity species. Why? Kasi ang fisheries, tayo na lang ang nag-i-export. All of those, rice, livestock, corn, even sibuyas, bawang, lahat yan nag-i-import. Tayo na lang yung parang may net exports, particularly our seaweeds, etc. So in terms of export, may opportunities pa rin dyan. Our marine biodiversity, the number of organisms per square area in the Philippines is the highest. We are what we call the center of marine biodiversity in the world. So, again, per square area, we host the highest number of unique species, although as compared to the whole world. And so, in terms of opportunities, in terms of study, research, in terms of biodiversity services, as we call them, in terms of discovery, drug discovery, etc. We have, I think, the number one potential in the world to have that. Kaya lang hindi lang na umpisa pa lang na nakikita natin, and we're really hoping that more and more students and Filipinos go into research and development of the things in marine biodiversity because really we have so much potential there in our marine ecosystem. When I was in Japan, I did my postgrad education in Japan, my master's and PhD in Japan. First hurdle was well, getting the scholarship, of course. Eventually, I got it. Then I went to Japan. Well, the language barrier, that's one. Pero I was in Tokyo, so really it was not that of a big problem because professors and students in Tokyo tend to speak more English rather than Japanese. In fact, they were the ones practicing their English as compared to us practicing our own. So that's one. Siguro, to me, my greatest challenge was a personal one. It's because, not academics, because there in Japan, as you know, Filipinos, if you give him an environment and all the tools that he needs, he will really stand out. I mean, he will progress independently. Kasi nasa nature natin Pinoy yung matatalino eh. So, academics-wise, experiment-wise, lahat ng Pilipino sa Japan, they can easily graduate because they have the tools and they have the talent. Sa akin ang nangyari was my wife, kasi nagkaroon siya ng nag-recur yung kanyang brain tumor. 2002 ako nagpunta din masters, and then 2006 sumunod siya, 2004 sumunod siya, nag-recur yung brain tumor in 2006. And so she has to be operated, she has to be treated while I was doing my PhD. And also at the same time she was pregnant at that time. And so yun yung medyo pinaka mabigat na struggle, challenge at that time was how to manage yung situation ng wife ko and my family, and then finishing my PhD. Thank you naman doon sa taas. I kept my sanity till the end of my grad school. Natapos ko siya with the help, of course, of my professor. Yung wife ko, she was very strong. So the end of the day, nakayanan namin, and I was able to go home and finish my PhD at time. Yung mga understudies ko, mga research assistants, some of them now are finishing their PhDs. Some are developing their own labs in other universities now. Some are already, even some masters, kahit masters graduate pa lang sila, they're now getting project, publishing internationally, and getting, multi-million projects on their own. So that one really makes me happy because, marami sila kami lang nagsasarili. Siguro pero thing siguro as well is greatest achievement so far, I guess my family, because when I see my kids, I think they're happy with what I do. Though madami actually. Totoo lang, it's a struggle to be a researcher, a scientist in the Philippines. My position now is scientist 1 and scientist 2 na ako ngayon sa scientific courses there. Pero ano pa rin getting funding, support from your peers, alam mo minsan, nakikita pa rin yung crab mentality in all the things that we do, even for pagiging scientist. Minsan mafe-feel mo sa environment na hindi lang naman dito, even parang kasalanan yung mag-achieve. Parang gano'n. Not only siguro in science, o pagiging scientist sa Pilipinas, but in everything. So, cultural na kasi pervasive pa rin yung inggit. Even though hindi mo naman sila ginugulo, but meron pa rin mga tao na nangingibabaw yung inggit such that maraming issues na kung pag nag-achieve ka, parang hindi sila masaya, which is unlike in other countries where siguro kung scientist 1 or scientist 2, sabi nga ng tatay ko, kung nasa Saudi Arabia, kasi nag-Saudi siya, baka libre ng bahay mo at libre ng kotse, ang laki ng sweldo. In here, parang minsan ikaw pa yung masama, parang ganun. So yun yung maraming, tapos pagkuha ng funding dito, alam mo na, maraming politics, tapos isa pa yung paiba-iba yung policies, paiba-iba yung regulations. High is when the end of the day you are able to still stand up even though ang dami-daming challenges sa Pilipinas, and be able to hear, for example, some students, high school, when you talk to them, and some college students, your advice, and thanking you for the things that you have done. Siguro making clear lang yung ano ba talaga yung mga existing national guidelines and policies in science and technology. I think that's key. Very clear guidelines, no? And our implementers of the guidelines being able to stick with those guidelines. We still feel that hindi pa rin kumbaga kitang-kita or feel that you are being supported. Yes, in fact, meron scientific career system, di ba, may YPAT, scientist lang ako. But I had to belabor to get that. It's part of that, and accomplish and all. Pero sa environment, parang kailangan ikaw pa rin yung mag-labor, mag-toil to become a scientist. Wherein in other countries, very evident yung support, let's say, yung government. In fact, they're really, nandyan sila to nurture you. Dito sa atin, hindi pag ganun. Sabihin, if you want to for example, no, I wanted to go into grad school, I had to go to the embassy on my own to apply for it. It was not sort of an institution-led, capacity building, personal development program for young kids or young staff who wants to go into higher education and planning for their lives towards that. Wala pang ganun. It's really kanya-kanyang kayod pa rin. One area which we are really adopting recently is, and maganda magkaroon pa tayo ng marami, is partnering with the industry. Doon pa lang sa experimental stage. That's, I think, one key. So, let's say, mag-experiment ka on broodstock development or mag-experiment ka into data collection halimbawa sa isang malaking fishing boat halimbawa to test the gear, for example. Maganda na doon pa lang sa experiment, sa planning stage pa lang, kung sino yung prospective na partner mo or collaborator mo. Sama mo na doon sa planning ng proposal. And then gagawin yung research together with them. I was a member and one-time president of the Science and Technology Advisory Council in Japan. Ito yung grupo ng mga scientists. Students, scholars, and parang professionals doon sa Japan ng mga Pilipino. And isa sa mga slogan na na-develop namin at that time is Science and Technology for Nation Building. Kasi we believe, and napapatunayan na yan sa ibang bansa, na unless you establish a significant base of science and technology practitioners, you can never graduate into a developed status in terms of your country. Kasi science and technology, this is the one who will generate new industries, who will generate, and therefore pag may maraming new industries, generate ka ng jobs. Ito yung mag-allow sa'yo to you know, manufacturing new products, no? And marketing them outside. Yung culture ng Pinoy na minsan yung nagkakaroon ng mga inggitan, malakas yung politics. So, pero ang gagawin mo na lang doon is you just provide with the proper guidance and directions. And then, kaya naman, manage naman. Pero yun nga, to me, ang problem is manpower. If they want to work with NFRDI, for example, or BFAR, or any prospective partner, no, collaborator, they should involve that partner or prospective collaborator at the project proposal stage pa. Kasi ang nagiging problema sa mga international and local institutions na gusto mong collaborate, gawa sila ng proposal, tapos ng lahat ng budget na noon, tsaka sila pupunta at sabihin nila collaborate tayo. Sa proposal pala ko, ito yung gagawin natin. Ano ba yung sharing ng information? Ano ba yung budget na kailangan mo? Anong budget na kailangan nila? So that when you propose that project now, kasama yung requirement ng collaborator. Which is, marami pa rin hindi nangyayari yung gano'n. Kaya, Timano, parang, okay, we can collaborate, pero saan ko kukunin yung budget para i-implement yung side namin? Ito, I would not say na walang challenges. There are a lot. Meron namang konting pagbabago na kahit paano, although don't expect it na parang kapareho sa Singapore or kapareho sa US yung trades. But then, your country needs you. We need more, a lot more Filipinos to go into science and technology. Kung kailangan natin ng mas maraming sundalo ngayon for China, for example. Ganun din sa SNT. Ang laki ng void, ang dami pa rin lumalabas. So, in terms of opportunities naman, meron namang budget now in terms of government support. May pilot ilang mga positions na nagiging available sa universities. Although again, don't compare it to Singapore or US kasi talagang malayo pa tayo or Japan. But aside from the monetary things, siguro if you really are yung puso mo is really sort of helping your fellow Filipinos, marami kang pwedeng itulong kung if you go into science and technology sa Philippines.